I don't use my work to run away from my life, because I really like my life. So I don't want to, I don't feel like I have to escape anything, Especially when you're younger, you want to be known, I guess, But then very, very fast you realize that if it's not something you do for yourself, it's just not worth it. So you start to act, you start to realize that there's a lot of things that you are not aware of, and that if you start to explore, to dig, you can, eventually, especially when you're younger, you build your own identity, and you start to understand what you like, and it becomes like a personal journey. And then the celebrity thing becomes secondary, and then it becomes a hassle. My father was a dancer. He danced a lot, and an actor. So I grew up in that environment where, I thought that actors should be able to know how to do everything. So, you want to know how to ride a horse, how to fight with a sword, you want to be able to do like martial arts, you want to be able to sing, to dance, but it's impossible. So, but I still tried for years. I always say that I did like 10 years of secondary studies, because literally for like 10, 15 years, I kept on going to classes, and I would go like to different classes, for example, in terms of acting. I would go to like very, let's say, French kind of pronunciation classes, theater, Molière and blah, blah, blah. So they don't really tell you how to explore, really, they tell you how to make it work on the stage, but it's very classical in a way. And but after a while with all those things, you kind of get confused, and that's where it gets interesting, really, because you have to let everything go, and you start to understand that it's all about how you work, and that's the most important thing, and the most interesting thing.
So how long did it take for you to figure out how you work, or do you feel like you figured it out?
I'm still trying. No, actually, I think I keep on learning things about how I work, and how I react to things. But I guess you need a little time. At first, you're a little stiff, I think. I mean, most, except like very conscious young actors, because that happens sometimes. Yeah. But I wasn't like that. I needed to get rid of a lot of things to finally be in touch with my emotions, with what I wanted and stuff like that. It's like you have a tendency when you're younger to make a lot of efforts to. So you feel that you did something important, you want to feel it, you want to hurt yourself, to be true to I don't know what, by the way. And then you realize that life is short, that you'll have your share of suffering in your life even if you don't want to. So why don't you just enjoy what you do, And that's how I feel now, nowadays. It's like, for me, being on a set is like a party, really. I need to have fun, because if I don't have fun, I have nothing to do there. So, and because when you're having fun, you let yourself go. And it's all about letting yourself go, really, and surprise yourself. And if there is an accident, use it. You need accidents all the time. Actually, the job of an actor is to create accidents, mini accidents. Enjoying the moment for what it is, and whatever it is. The rest, all the things that you do before, the studies, and then if you come with too many things in your head, you're not ready for an accident, No, not really. No, I mean, I do some research when it's needed. You know, suddenly, if I feel that there is something I really don't get, and that I should, dig a little bit to identify, then I will do as much research as I need to. But I'm not going to be, I stopped like maybe 10 years ago to pretend that I have to work to do what I do, because I think acting most of the time is about the instant.
Yeah.
It's about the moment, and you can do whatever work you want to before. If you're not ready to embrace the moment, and if you're not capable of that, then, I'm not a researcher, I'm an actor. I act in the instant. And it's just, the real work, I think, for actors, it's just to learn how to free yourself on the moment, and to be flexible, and to be ready to let your body go with your imagination on the moment. I think that's the really important thing. Actors have to be animals, at least at the moment when they act, I think.
But I guess research, for some people, gives them that kind of courage, and that kind of, they feel solid, they have a base underneath of them, so they want to have that.
It's a lot of energy.
Robert De Niro said that one of the things about acting is that it allows you to live other people's lives without having to pay the price. Did you enjoy living the life of a gangster, and how much did you have to pay for it?
You don't live the life, you know, you can do things, you know, while the scenes, but you know, I never really lose myself in a character. I can't pretend that, you know, out of the frame, I'm still into the character. It's not true. When it's cut, I'm on my way, I'll do, you know, anything but the character's life. The project took 7 years to be made, so I read everything. I've met like old gangsters and blah blah blah, you know, so I was like full, but so I gained the weight, but then, you know, that was enough. Then I had to let everything go and just enjoy the moment. And it was actually it was a 9-month shoot, and I loved it, every day of it. But because I was having fun, you know, even when I was like being beaten up by cops or whatever, it was fun. You know, at first when you start, once again, you think that the directors are like, you know, gods, and they know, and they're gonna guide you. And then you realize that it's not true at all, because actually, especially the best directors, don't know what they're gonna do. And even more than that, they don't pretend. You know, it's very organic. So we get on a set, you got the lines, you got the actors, it's not the one that was supposed to be there, so it's gonna change things. The bar is not exactly the same position that what you had in mind, blah, 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 and so you have to adapt and to make it work on D-Day, you know?
Right.
And that's definitely the most, I mean, the best part of what I do. It's, you know, the moment where you find things and when you create, let's say, you know, the rest is work. That moment, I mean, to me, up to now, is pleasure more than anything else.
So are there filmmakers who you would really like to work with at this point, that you go, I want to work with a filmmaker, or is it the material that comes to you?
Filmmakers more than anything else. You know, honestly, I realized that a wonderful director with no script can make a good movie. A wonderful script with a bad director is not going to make a great movie. So it's all about personality. You know, if something has to be organic, you have to be able to play with people that have something inside. You know, not just makers. You know, and I've realized that most of the artists that are so dedicated to what they do have nothing else in their lives, and that's why they're so rough on that subject matters, because I mean, if they're not the best in what they do, they don't exist anymore. Just once you said yes to something, you know, and you decided to go with it, except if you suddenly realize that the director's a jerk, or the actress is terrible, or, you know, if you don't get along really in a very bad way with somebody on set. Otherwise, you know, you just, you know, you're part of, you know, you're on the boat, so you got to go and you got to make it happen the best you can. So, and actually, that's what I like. It's the minute it's like falling in love, really. You know, the thing about the key, you know, the key of the car. You say, okay, now I'm with you, you know, and everything is going to happen. Is going to be positive, anyways. You know. Then after the movie, you can wake up and say, the way he talked to me that day on the set. But otherwise, you know, it's. Once you said yes, you know, and once again, I think it has to be easy, you know, it has to be playful. You have to find a way to let yourself go and to enjoy what you do, because the minute you don't enjoy it anymore, it really shows, I think. But when you're like trying to build something and compose, then the first dailies are important, because you very easily and very early you can see if it works or not, you know. So for me, at first, if I need to correct some stuff, you know, in terms of the way I speak, or the wigs, or the whatever, you know. But then I mean, it's not something super pleasurable for me to watch myself. You know, I watch it, if it's okay, then.
But you find it a little helpful.
Sometimes.
Yeah. And so do you, when your stuff comes up on television or whatever, do you ever sit and watch, or are you uncomfortable watching? No,
I'm not uncomfortable, but it's not something you know. I mean, there's so many movies that I haven't seen, I mean, than mine. So I watch them once or twice for the premiere, blah, 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 you know. But I've realized that you never can really see a movie when you're in it, or when you're involved with it, you know. Because you're fucked, you can't see it. You can't watch it anymore, you know too much about it. You can't be surprised. So most of the time I've realized that the best way to see the movie that you did for what it is, it's when like 2, 3, 4 years, 10 years later, you know, you're just zapping the TV and you go, oh, and you're not prepared for it. Right. And it's been a while, and then you see what you did, maybe, you know, a little more. Yeah, let's talk about the choices a bit, because I think it's a key thing for an actor, really. I remember reading an interview of Robert De Niro years ago, and he was saying the talent of something like that. I don't exactly remember the quote, but the talent of an actor resides in his choices. Mm-hmm. What does that mean? I mean, I was much younger, and I was like, so what did Robert De Niro meant by that? Mm-hmm. You know, is it the choices of movies, or is it the choices that you make in a scene? You know. Mm-hmm. I still don't totally get it, but I think it's the choices are a key thing. You know, it's definitely something. You know, you shouldn't be letting yourself go and let people choose, because otherwise you don't recognize yourself in what you do. Mm-hmm. It's much healthier to make movies that you want to see, mm-hmm. that to make movies that, you know, eventually people would like to see, but you just don't care. You know. Mm-hmm. But there's a movie I really loved that was called it's called Lagrange Cuisine. The big it's Marco Ferreri with Mastroianni. Well, it's wonderful, mm-hmm. except that the story is about guys who want to commit suicide, and so they stuck themselves in a house, and all they do is eat, mm-hmm. eat, drink, have sex, but to die. You know, mm-hmm. that's how they want to die. Mm-hmm. And this thing, when he went to the Cannes Film Festival mm-hmm. at the time, was like a scandal. And if you read the critics that they had at the time, it's supposed to be like the worst piece of shit ever. Mm-hmm. It's actually a masterpiece, you know. And so there's a lot of examples. I know that Raging Bull, we were talking about, mm-hmm. had not so great reviews at the time, and it didn't make a lot of money.
Well, all the Kubrick films. The only film of his that got well reviewed when it came out was Strangelove. That's
why it's important, you know, to know what you like and to be confident in yourself, because otherwise you're just like a little feather in the wind, you know. Mm-hmm. And then it's over, and you just look at what you did, and it's crap. You know, I felt like I had a responsibility of being part of that thing. You know, I thought that we would change to something, you know, mm-hmm. and that was our mission. You know, well, finally we didn't change much, but it was great years. It was important to be part of your time, you know, more than please mm-hmm. oldies, you know, all the people. Things have changed, of course. I mean, I was desperate to do what I'm doing when I was younger, and now I'm not anymore. I mean, now I feel like I have more distance with it, and I do actually less and less things, because I realize that if I act too much, then I get bored doing it. So I really love the moment where you act. I mean, I still really love that moment, but the whole process of waiting, promoting, and all this, I think as you grow older and you get it, you know, you understand more things, and you have more distance with, you know, fame and blah 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 and recognition, it feels really stupid and a real loss of time most of the time. So I mean, you know, as you grow, you understand better what you like and what you don't, and you organize your life in that sense. But if you don't lie too much to yourself, then I think it's a wonderful job.